Tiano in a timeless, fine Kenyan leather jacket by Katush Nairobi. And this is not fast fashion. It's real leather. So it's also handmade and it's a hand-me-down piece, aka it will last decades. But last Saturday, February 11th, we marked the 8th International Day for Women and Girls in Science. International Day for Women and Girls in Science. And the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, said, we can all do our part to unleash our world's enormous, untapped talent, starting with filling classrooms, laboratories, and boardrooms with women scientists. I love that. Shout out the UNSG, Antonio Guterres. I know women accounted for 1 in 3, that's 33% of researchers in 2018. We have achieved parity in numbers in life sciences in many countries and even dominated this field in some cases. However, we remain a minority in digital information technology, computing, physics, mathematics, and engineering. I blame my mother for me not becoming a physicist. I got an A in physics, right? I was all up in the physics. I was heading into the physics, but I was told there's no money in physics. Well, maybe in that time there wasn't money in physics. But seriously, these are the fields that are driving the digital revolution and so many of the jobs of tomorrow. And that's why joining me now is Leslie Bonyo, MSc in Information Technology, majoring in Business Intelligence at Strathmore University. Welcome to Double O Direct, Leslie.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you.
Nice to be here.
Do you know, it was like a broken telephone of this person, sorry, I can't make it. This person, sorry, I can't make it. But Leslie, I'm going to ask Leslie. So I know it's your first time on radio.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
It's good.
Cold?
Very cold. The AC here.
It's because of this fine crafted leather jacket that I had to wear. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, tell me about yourself, Leslie.
So my name is Leslie, and I'm a teaching fellow at Strathmore University. So I studied computer science as my undergraduate, and then went ahead and did information technology and majored in business intelligence. So on a day-to-day basis, I teach web development, software engineering to students at Strathmore University.
I love that. So what made you fall in love with the sciences and with tech in particular?
I've always loved the sciences. I was very good in physics, just like you are. Very good in chemistry, in mathematics. So automatically I was geared to...
You didn't want to be a radio presenter? Because that's what happened. No, just kidding.
I'm an introvert. I'm really extroverted.
That's the thing. I've been finding it challenging to get women scientists because a majority, like you, are very introverted. So they are brilliant leaders in their field, but they just don't talk much about it. So tell me about the transition into... moving away from high school, getting into university as a woman. What was the environment like when you were studying with regards to gender parity, your lecturers, the attention given, and maybe some of the challenges you had in maybe having to also have some responsibilities at home, if any?
Okay. Well, moving from high school now to university, so in our class, we had very few women. I think we were around 8
in a classroom of how many?
Of around 70.
70.
Yes.
So basically, if you're looking for a boyfriend, this is the thing to study because surely that's where all the guys are. I'm just kidding. Continue.
Yeah, it was in JQuad, so you can imagine.
Were you called because of your results in KCSE?
Yes.
All right. What did you get?
I scored an A.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So thank you. So we were very few women in our class, so just around 8 of us with many guys. So that needed a lot of adjusting, especially for me.
Did you go to an all-girls high school?
Yes, I did.
This is what I don't understand. You go from an all-girls high school to a class where you are significant minority as a woman. Did that impact your studies?
Not very much, but just at the start, I used to just go to class, sit in front, leave the first person, because it was very hard to interact with my classmates, because most were guys, and the cliques that were there, we had groups of other guys. But then just towards my second year, I got the other ladies and we became very good friends. Yeah. So with that, we helped each other just with the studies. And I would say the ladies really excelled in the class. Yeah.
That's fantastic, and that's great to hear. So when you went into this field, were you looking at career opportunities, or were you just interested in following your passion?
I was interested in career opportunities, especially with how the world was moving, because when we look at how the world is moving, most of the opportunities today are very tech oriented.
Yes.
So I was thinking about that as well, in terms of just later the space that I will be in and the opportunities that I'll be looking at. Yeah.
I really want to understand if your parents and your circle were supportive of your decision to go into science as opposed to any other field, because it takes a lot for somebody to go into an environment where they're going to be a minority, and really support is required. So how supportive were they?
My sister was very supportive. She actually was one of those people who really encouraged me to go into this particular field. So my parents,
what was the hesitation? What would you say? Why were they so hesitant?
Maybe because most of the career paths that people choose is, the doctors, mostly the doctors. When my dad is a doctor, and pharmacy, engineering,
yes,
and such. So thinking about computer science, it was not very popular, especially now with my parents. Yeah, so I would say they were just very neutral. It was not. They didn't discourage me, but they were very neutral about it.
About STEM, women in STEM. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Last Saturday, we celebrated the International Day for Girls and Women in STEM. I missed it because I was busy doing many other things. But because in another life, I'd have been an astrophysicist. This is something that's very, very important to me. Not only have I watched every single episode and movie ever made of Star Trek. Yes, that is me. Yeah, I was also chess queen at USIU. No, that year the players were just bad. I'm not that great at chess. They were just bad. But now I have another amazing woman joining me. Her name is Susan Murabana. She's the CEO of the Traveling Telescope. Before we get to that, MSc Information Technology majoring in Business Intelligence is Leslie Bonyo. Why are more women not in STEM, Leslie?
I would think that we need more role models just to encourage more women in tech. So just the lack of more women role models, because compared to men, they're quite a number, and this encourages them to pursue the STEM careers. So we need more role models just to encourage women, because
and conducive environments, because you're telling me that when you had JKUAT there were, was it 70 students in the class, and you were only like 8 girls?
Yes.
So that can be tough and intimidating to a lot of people, especially in a society like ours where a lot of high schoolers go to gender segregated institutions. So you're thinking they're going to be now 70 guys. That's tough. But moving on to Susan, thank you for that, Leslie. Moving on to Susan, tell me, what is the Traveling Telescope?
So the Traveling Telescope, just like the name, we travel with our telescope, and why we do it is the telescope has been around for more than 400 years. And
Galileo,
so many,
you were wrongfully persecuted.
I know, and so many people haven't had a chance to look through one. So many young girls and boys in Kenya and around this area haven't had a chance. And imagine just looking up and seeing Saturn and its rings for the first time. Our aim is really to spark people, especially young kids, into science and STEM, and also to understand their place in the universe.
I'm taking you home with me. I'm taking, Susan, I am taking you home with me because you're talking a language that I absolutely, I'm in love with. Yeah.
So cool. And also, I think most people think astronomy is elitist. Well, we've all looked up in the sky and
golf. It's more elitist than astronomy.
We've all looked up. We've all tried to make sense of it. A child as young as 1 year knows the moon and the sun. So it's really for everyone. And that's what we're trying to do, to demystify astronomy and to get everyone involved in it. The Samburu guy who's looked up and has his traditional story.
There's no light pollution when you're out there. It's the African sky is so beautiful because of that.
And it's a wealth. It's a natural resource we have, astrotourism, you know. And for Kenya, we're right at the equator. So you know what that means? You get the whole sky, north and southern.
Yes.
But also when you're looking through the telescope, everything looks really nice and crisp clear when it's overhead, right up there. If you're looking at Orion Nebula, for example, or you're looking at Saturn, or I keep saying Saturn, the moon.
Yes.
Very nice. That you can't get in England, where my co-founder and partner husband is from. So yeah, we're lucky.
We are extremely lucky, and I'm extremely happy about that. But who is Susan Murabata, apart from being co-founder and CEO of the Traveling Telescope?
Yeah, I'm a mother. I'm a mother. I'm a sister. I love Africa. I love the world. I just think astronomy makes us appreciate who we are and makes us want to live together. We can't, divide ourselves as Kenyans, as Africans, and we had to do that during COVID. But it's just a reminder that if you're having a threat from out there, what do? We have to come together.
Are you talking about
an asteroid coming to kill us? Now, space can kill us too.
Yes.
So what do? We have to work together.
Are you a scientist?
It's a hard question. My first degree was in economics and sociology.
Yes.
And then I looked through a telescope and I saw Saturn when I was about to finish my degree.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, I wish I saw this in school. So I really got hooked onto it. I always loved science. So then I did a master's in astronomy and got to do astronomy for almost 20 years now.
I love it. I love it. Where did you study astronomy?
I did it at James Cook University in Australia. Online, so I didn't go. I've never been to Australia.
Oh
no, I haven't. Yeah.
I was like, well, that's an awful way to go. Not as far as Saturn, but that's an awful way to go. More with Leslie and more with Susan when we celebrate women in STEM. Plus, she just called me and she told me, I am on my way. I'm talking about the artist Wahoo. How you doing? I am Olivia Otieno. This is Double O Direct with you until 2 p.m. this afternoon. I will be having the EU Deputy Ambassador to Kenya, Katrin Hageman. She'll be here talking about the EU-Kenya Business Forum that's taking place next week. But not one, not two, but three sensational women. I have Susan Murabata, who is the CEO of the Traveling Telescope. I have a lady who's got an MSc in IT, majoring in business intelligence. Her name, of course, is Leslie Bonyo, but the sensational, the phenomenal, the ever inspirational Wahoo has just landed. Welcome to Double O Direct, Wahoo.
Oh gosh, you're making me feel so nice. Thank you so much.
You are nice. I'm nice. You're nice. You are nice. Oh my goodness. Earlier I played a track and it made me laugh because it was all about lies. And I was thinking, no, girl, you don't know lies. Wahoo is the one who sang.
You know what I'm saying, eh?
But in Vogue. And I was like, girl, you don't know nothing.
Oh my God, which song was that?
It's called Lies. It's by En Vogue.
Oh gosh, I can't remember it.
Neither could I. Because the only lies I know is Wahoo.
He's a liar.
Your track overshadowed everybody else.
Oh my God, that was a fun track to make as well. I really enjoyed it.
Congratulations.
Asante.
Your daughter is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You make beautiful, beautiful children.
Oh,
I have a son. He's 5. We're going to talk.
Hey, we shall talk.
We shall talk. Yeah. But we're here to talk about education. We're here to talk about science. We're here to talk about the fact that you have a degree in maths.
Yes, I do.
Which most people did not know or are not aware of. But joined Boyas and they said, no, if we're going to talk about STEM and women and maths, you need to have Wahoo. And I was like, I was like, which Wahoo? Then she looked at me and goes, who?
I like
Olivia. So tell me about that.
So yes, my undergrad is in mathematics, mathematics.
Yeah.
My undergrad is in maths. I studied at the University of Nairobi. I also have a master's, but my master's is in communication.
Great.
So I moved into a separate field. But yeah, so I did maths at the beginning. And so to be very, very honest,
Yes.
My initial ambition
Yes.
was to get into pharmacy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't make the cut because I
Okay.
think the cutoff, I think you had to have an A minus. Like
Yes.
it was madness our days. You know,
Yes.
you're like, okay, sorry, gosh.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I'm actually very glad I didn't do pharmacy.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why a little later.
Okay.
So now the next thing was BSc, and BSc is general, right? So you have you go into Chiromo and you ask, okay, so what subjects do you want to study?
Yes.
Yeah. And so first of all, I naturally am very like, don't tell me that I can't do something,
Yeah.
because that's when I'm going to do
I'ma
it.
do it.
Excuse
I'm
you.
a what?
I'm like, excuse you, you don't tell me. So we are faced with the sciences. We have chemistry, we have botany, we have zoology, we have all these sciences. And then this one guy, I'll never forget, I can't say his name, 'cause he's not a lecturer at the university, but I remember him saying, choose something girly.
No.
Do
Lifestyle.
something, do something like botany. Something that's easy. I'm like,
Now let me show you.
let me ask you, where do sciences have a gender?
Yes.
At Igali, who said what is girly and what is masculine?
Exactly.
So I said, especially because this particular human
Yes.
has told me that I should do that. I'm going to show you that girls can do this,
Exactly.
because I just like to prove points. Wired very differently. So my first 2 years, you have to, so how the BSc is the first 2 years you have to do combined sciences, and then you specialize in third year. So my first 2 years I did physics and math.
You have to do physics and math together.
I did physics and math, and again, because I'm like, don't tell me what is feminine and what is not. So in our physics and math class, we were very few women as
Yes.
well, unfortunately, because again, it's just a stereotype. People think I shouldn't, I should. So,
Yes.
you know,
There's not
and
that support.
you know, especially back then, and then even when you go into the physics lab, the men would tend to delegate, like they're trying to like they're cool outside.
Try.
No, wanasema chukua notes, chukua readings. I'm like, hey, wewe shika kalamu my friend, na hiyo karatasi wacha ni cheze na hizi maweights. Nitakwambia chenye utaandika, uso utaniambia wewe ni. So
You had physics and math.
I did physics and math for
Yes.
2 years,
Yes.
and then after that I went into pure math. So my idea at the beginning,
There's something about when a lady says pure math.
I did, and the idea at the beginning was to find my way into actuarial science. At the time, there were very few actuaries. When I
Yes.
actuaries.
Yes.
Actuaries back then, and of course now me, inside me, I'm like, hey, ni pesa do. Let me tell you, those guys make chums. They make serious cash, eh?
Yes.
So I'm like, apa, hey. But to be very, very honest, if I went down that path, I could have done it. I would have done whatever it is.
Yes.
But I would not have been happy. You know, because
get it.
at the bottom of my heart, my true north is always in life. Does this make me happy?
Yes.
Does this make me happy? Does this make me happy? So even as I was doing my math degree, I was already playing with music.
Yes.
Because it's my true north.
Yes.
What makes me happy in life? I always work like that. Is it making me happy? I'm doing it, I can do it, but does it make me happy? So that's why I was saying I'm glad I didn't do pharmacy, because I'd have done it, and I'd probably be a baller, but I don't think I'd be happy. You know, and
Hey, but you're still a baller. You're still a baller.
you know what I'm saying? I try.
More with Susan, more with Leslie. We're talking about women in STEM. That is science. That is technology. That is engineering. And of course, mathematics.
SpiceFM.
Who? I love maths. She was like, you think I can't? Watch a Niku
show.
Watcha too. So it's really impressive because also for your girls
Yeah.
and conversations with them, it's really interesting. What do you do to try and encourage them and expose them to STEM?
So for me, I always, first of all, I demystify that, girls or people cannot do this, or what is hard and what is not, because everything starts and ends with your mindset.
Yes.
So if you believe something is hard, you're gonna struggle with it, you know. So I generally just try to show them, it is not difficult. From my own failures and my own successes, I tell them how I used to fail in chemistry in high school. I used to get 2%. I promise you. I used to get 2% until I changed my mindset.
Yes.
And then I told myself, actually, I can do this. And that was in fourth form.
Yes.
And then I started getting A's.
Wow.
So I tell them my own story of failure and success. And then I tell them, if I can do it, what's stopping you?
Yes.
And then I also encourage them that if you don't understand something, that's okay. If so-and-so understands and you don't, you just need to take a little bit more time, and it doesn't mean that they're cleverer than you.
Yes.
You need to find how you learn. How do you learn? And I find YouTube helps a lot.
Yes,
For example, there's so much amazing content on the net, positive things, places you can get.
Khan Academy is one. Do you know Khan Academy? KHAN?
Yes.
I see all of you ladies nodding. It's a great resource for learning.
For sure, for kids of all ages. Yeah. And then just being there. Because there are times you can see the child is frustrated. Just see, it's okay. Imagine. And then as long as you assure them, even if you don't understand, even if you fail, I still love you.
Yeah.
If this is my so don't do it for me.
Yes.
Don't do it so that you can try and get my love. The love is constant. Yeah. So I really try to push just the vibe and to show them how math plays into their own life.
Yes.
So it's a constant conversation as long as you're there to just answer any questions, and then you try to tie it back like, did you calculate something? Did you just calculate something? Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, Wahoo. Parting words, Leslie Bonyo.
In regards to STEM, I think there are many opportunities today for girls, which is a good thing. Yeah, so I would encourage girls out there, the young girls, not to be scared to apply for these opportunities, to go for them.
Do we have science fairs? I know there's always musical festival, musical this, theatre that. In high schools, in Kenyan high schools and primary schools, do we have science fairs where they're encouraged to create science projects?
Yeah, high school has science fairs. In university, there are hackathons, so people can take part in them. There are tech events. There are many tech communities that even more women can take part in. I
have a website. It needs work. You're a web developer. Can we talk?
We can talk.
Olivia-otieno.com. We're going to talk. Getting suppliers on the show. But speaking of inspiring young girls in primary school and going into high school to get into STEM, tell me about the work of the Traveling Telescope.
So we do go to schools and we take our telescope. I think I said that.
Tell me about the telescope firstly. Like, it's very large.
So it's a 12-inch. We have a 12-inch telescope that's really good for the planets and the moon and other things. And then we have a tiny one, like a small one. It doesn't look impressive, but it's really good for deep sky objects. We're talking about our fields, and I don't know if you talked about how it's male dominated. I'm around men at the Traveling Telescope. They're all men. And I really want to get more girls there. I just like how Wahoo was talking about encouraging your kids. I think we do go to schools. We built a planetarium in Nairobi at Riverside Drive, out of bamboo. It's a geodesic. It looks like a flying saucer.
Yes.
It's the only planetarium in the world out of bamboo.
Yes.
And I'm the president of African Planetarium Association. So I sit on the board of International Planetarium Society. So we're engaging everyone. I'm so keen to go to school, so education is a key thing. We also do this showcase in Kenya as a tourist destination for stars, so astrotourism is a key thing. We hang out with celebrities who've come to Kenya. With Madonna, she looked through our telescope, so come look through the same telescope. But then I just want to say that as parents, as leaders, we need to encourage our kids. We need to come to the events they're in. Because I feel when I moved to astronomy, I had a lot of support from my parents.
And please note, astronomy is not astrology.
Yes, it's not astrology.
Gemini, Taurus, Leo.
Future, telling their future.
And we still bring the Geminis when we're talking about stuff, because astronomers use constellations to map out the sky and to point out cool things. But yeah, so encouraging your kids is such an important thing, and I felt I was lucky. I lived in a world where my parents are very encouraging, and sometimes we don't have that for our kids. So we try to engage everyone with a soft spot for education and tourism, because if there's buy-in from us guys in astronomy, then it's sustainable.
We have not had nearly enough time. The reason these ladies were late. See, Mimi, let me be honest. See, Mimi. But thank you so much. This to be continued. Can we say to be continued?
Yes.
Yeah? Can we say to be continued? All right, Leslie Bonyo, Susan Murabana, the incredible and phenomenal who imagine this is the first time I'm interviewing you. I'm not even happy about that.
I can't even believe that. No.
I mean, it's just like a amuse-bouche, you know? It's just like a palate cleanser. Jahanza, even starter bado.
Yes. We have to do this again.
Definitely.
Delve deeper.
Susan, Leslie, Wahoo, enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much.
And you too.
Thank you. Have a nice enjoy your weekend.